Uh... I just had a line of thought that I'm trying to dig deeper into, because it's like, wait, there might actually be something there. Something useful there, as an insight. Safe spaces are not always recovery spaces. Safe spaces are good for if you want to just make sure you don't have to deal with the general toxicity of the world. But I wonder how many of them are built with the idea of recovery unintentionally as opposed to intentionally. Because intentions have an impact even if they do not determine the impact. Well, that just looks awkward as fuck. We're going back to Halloween style. Oh, oh, great. Some part of my brain wants to be highly accurate, and it's just like, I don't even need to... Nope. Honestly, that's nice for future reference. When you unlock a new expression, you only have to activate the base level of it to get rid of the notification, which I think is a lot nicer. Because it simply gives people time to enjoy what they're doing. Be it playing the game or otherwise. I should have checked the Aurora Discord. Maybe they just play the game occasionally. For those of you wondering, since yes, that recording didn't work out, that is the random aim that was generated and assigned to the one person I met. It's just like, oh, neat. Why are we up here again? Also, are these still around? No, they're not. Okay. So the bonus ones are not still around. If it's the same cutscene again, then what's the point? Oh, are they doing prep days where people get the original assignment to give a good few attempts to start with, and then the next day is where they present their final product? Because that actually makes more sense. My brain didn't notice the details, so I was like, why are there two? And it's just like, 50 of these frickin' tickets, and I'd... Oh wait, no, these are still around. Okay, so then I can use what I remembered from what I saw in the Aurora server to finish this off, then. Something about it being over here. Maybe I probably already got that one. One moment. There's 11 of 15. That one's actually a tricky one, because it's not someplace the player usually goes. At least as far as I know, in my own experience. Oh, come on, you couldn't let me grab it from the ledge? 13 of 15. Oh yeah, the other two were up here in the bells. In one... near the bells, I should say. Behind the bells? I mean, that's very obscure. I can understand raising difficulty, but if you haven't done that before, then... I'm just confused. Alright. Alright, so ballot a player. That's pretty easy. Okay, that is way too funny. Make a new acquaintance. Melt 10 darkness. Where is there darkness in the vaults? In one of the side worlds? Relive a spirit's memories. I'll go there for the seasonal candles and the regular candles. Jeez. Seriously though, where in this entire vault is their darkness. Guess we're going down here. Make a new acquaintance by pure fucking accident. Okay, I'm glad the momentum... Oh my fucking yeesh. I would think they have it set as a zone of inactivity rather than, you know, just an automatic timer. Timer is easier to do calculations on than a zone of inactivity. Fucking... Ah. Oh. Whoops. Oh, would have been blind to that. I hated the accident I just got in there. There's one thing I'm not fond of. It's that damn accent. I'm still wondering where in the fuck there's darkness in this place. Cause like... What? What? But I don't know. Like, I'm willing to bet it doesn't actually have to be at the quest location, but... I am just baffled. At how that happened. Can't remember jack shit, so now I've gotta go back over here and ask myself, did I get the things from here? I did, okay, good. Oh. I really should change that folder name. What? What the fuck is that? Oh, come on! I wanted a good look at it. Of course, the downward momentum carries. That's the reason why it varies on the... That's the reason why it's only sometimes that switching from one mode to another will actually gain you more speed. Where some of these simple looking systems make you happy. But then again, that would take away the game designer's freedoms in helping to make sure the player doesn't go too far with the abilities they've been given. Oh, just because the camera was not aimed at it means I don't get to make that jump? Kinda stupid. I can understand having phone limitations, but damn. Alright. Oh. Da, 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 da. See, that's one of the things I just realized, like, I got a comment on one of my videos the other day where it's like, I don't know why YouTube recommended me this, but watching you play is pretty relaxing. It's just, like, nice. Oh. Because one thing I try to do when it comes to things I do often, or, like, consistently, is try to do it in a way that feels fun or good to me. I don't just try to do it the normal boring way if I can find some way to do it fun. Although I do have to admit that is how the back gate on the house ended up crooked and a bit bent. I would unlatch it, hop on as it opened, eventually just wore itself out, damn it. It was so much fun, though. Never. Thank you. Alright, there we are. Torch is powerful. Awesome. Honestly, that wouldn't surprise me. Well, I forgot to do a mission. Shit. There's one that isn't too hard. Let's do it. Not that one. Center one over here. I completely forgot that you can count the spirits as sources of darkness, even though I only figured that out recently. Even though I recently figured that out and realized it, and it's just like, gotta keep that in mind. Damn it. I am a fool. That was nice. Want to see me do it again? Why am I doing it all over again instead of going to the next nearest spirit and just doing that? Or flying out of bounds and going to that spirit too? Simple. It filled up half of the entire fucking meter. I only need to do it twice. How was that? You just plummet in this room. Makes no damn sense. Bye, have a wonderful time. Nope. Call for me, I ain't there. Sorry, man. It's not that kind of day. Huh? Okay, then I guess the natural air currents. Or whatever the fuck was there. I'm only 26 and I'm still trying to figure out who the fuck I am. In so many little ways. Wanna know the silliest fucking idea I've had in my life so far? Silliest little fantasy theory I've had? We live in a universe where there's already a civilization that's advanced to a point we can't even fucking imagine. However, it's done so not by just simply understanding the foundational laws of the universe through mathematical concepts, but understanding which concepts build off of and relate off of each other to allow our universe to exist. And sure, on a mathematical level, you could say that's already being done with the formulation for gravity and otherwise. You need to be relative concept in order to get accurate results. But what about concepts that self-reference? What happens when you hit a limit with self-referencing? Do you invite a new concept in as by choice, or is it something that's more like a pact? interesting, because I genuinely believe the world is just we're in a conceptual computer, and I don't mean that just like, oh, it's just, we can't even imagine it. No, I mean it's literally not just made of math and whatnot. We're inside, like, some fucking concept it crafted machine. I could be wrong, though. I could very easily be wrong. Anyways, that wasn't the silly part. That was all just, like, silly that wasn't... I say it wasn't the silly part and then I call it silly. That was all just speculative theory crafting that I still don't have enough evidence to even count as useful outside of my own personal life or to write a paper on it. Because, okay, if that's the case, then how the fuck are you going to test it? It's like, how do you test concepts? First you must understand the concept. Okay. Then you must find a way in which the concept would violate its own principles, thus ceasing to exist. Okay? And if it does violate its own principles, is that because of other concepts beneath it that help make up its structure? Or is it due to a counterintuitive understanding of the concept? Again, you could go on for hours about this stuff. Heck, I've already got one friend who told me they spent an entire night thinking about this stuff with their friend once they were high, and it's just like, lovely. Unfortunately, I don't need to be high to consider this shit. So, keeping it off my mind is actually something I have to put effort into. Dun, dun, dun. Because it's like, okay, what are the practical applications of this information? It's like, as far as I know, there aren't any. Like, sure, if you go down to the base level of psychology and understand that people are concepts formed out of the interactions of subsystems and otherwise, then it would make sense that technically people can be quote-unquote devoured or consumed by a concept to the point where they lose their ability to be rational with it. Even if that is the case, then how do you treat it? And psychology's been trying to go at that for a while, because it's like, there are so many nuanced details between the overlaps of different concepts and how they reference each other that it's not even funny trying to, like, point to a single thing and say, this is it, or this is it. Because sometimes something you observe is the communication or interaction between two concepts that you wouldn't have even thought of. Concepts, 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 concepts. How many times have I said that in the last few minutes? I don't remember what it was I was trying to do over here once, but... just use the other method, because I don't remember the first one. Nope. It's like, what's the other method? Diving from really high up in the sky to slip underneath the island. And by the time I did it last time, Other people were already opening the door, so it was half pointless. Okay, they went home. But no, politics between concepts in terms of building the foundations of reality is an interesting line of thought. Because if you think about black holes and how they're accumulations of mass that have imploded in on themselves from the force of gravity. Yeah, they're flying the other way, I'm not getting this. Then wouldn't it be interesting to not just consider that maybe, just maybe, a fundamental thing with black holes is also applicable to the concept of nothing? That when nothing hits a certain limit or otherwise, that it just implodes, creating a giant cluster of nothing, be it due to a giant cluster of nothing that isolates itself from the surrounding nothing in order to preserve itself. I can't... There's a social dynamic possibility, and then there's just a mathematical possibility, and I don't know which one it is, because I'm just making speculation. I'm not doing the math for it. Because people are out there trying to weigh the weight of nothing. And part of me is just sitting here like, it's not the weight of nothing, it's the pressure of nothing. Because if you hit a limit, if nothing can interact with itself and replicate infinitely, if it's the root value of a system, and that system has a limit on the amount of zeros it can take, if you try to inject another zero in, what happens? Well, if there's not enough room, either that zero decides to not go in, I don't know, I'm just trying to put my thoughts together, my theories together in the middle of playing this game. But no, if it's not a physically based computer system, then what happens when zero overflows, but the system still wants to store more zeros? Well, most mathematicians would say 0 multiplied to any degree is 0. And it's like, yeah, but we're not talking about 0 multiplying itself. We're talking about 0 overcrowding itself as a concept. A limitation on the space it can take up and continue to create more of itself. At that point, does do the whole mass of zeros just collapse inwards to create something like a black hole? Similar to how a black hole works with mass, or do they, if it's on a concept social level, then do they simply group together and differentiate themselves into something? Well, are they doing it of their own means, or are they doing it because the amount of zeros available, just the amount of zero space available isn't enough, and zero just gets overcrowded into being socially isolated, and then socially isolated into one, and then crushed by the other zeros because it's different. Hell, it might not even be a social thing. It's just like, okay, what do you do if there's no more room for the same thing? Well, clearly that thing can't fit in there because there's no more room. If you try to force it in, it's not going to make it. And on a social dynamic, that usually causes ostracization and/or I don't know how to put this theory to words because it's really awkward. At the same time, it's awkward because it's a different angle of looking at it. If the root value of every universe is nothing, then how does something exist? Well, what happens when you overflow the amount of nothing? And it's like, that shouldn't work, and it's like, okay, but what if it does? What if it does and it creates something from that overflow, be it in one way or another? Then why doesn't that something stay in? And it's like, well, either it gets ejected out the system because of the overflow again, or it gets crushed and/or can't sustain its own existence for anything longer than a short moment. It's like, okay, but then wouldn't that just mean the basic fabric of the universe is static? And everything else exists in the forms it does simply due to the frequencies between the little moments between other moments. I'm trying to put what I thought into words and I don't have the words available, damn it. Because on a graph where you're measuring from something to absolute something, from zero something to a lot of something, there's always a curve and a peak to it that stands out amongst, like, the baseline when you get a large enough sample. And it's like, okay, how consistent is that as a wave pattern across different areas with I don't know what I am talking about, and I'm probably just going to inspire some crazy theorists. If I ever even get popular, that is. Because a lot of my theory is basically just fantasy built on concept. And quantum mechanics is possibility space. Because of the difference in scale. Because if you think about it, math is playing with the basics from one end, and then higher level math is about building on top of those basics consistently to determine useful patterns and or concepts. Why are you jumping up there? So higher level math is just conceptual math. It's comparing the answers from different problems from different pieces of information you have relative to each other in order to get an answer that you don't currently know. The basics of any kind of observation, really. If you have nothing relative to what's being presented, then how the hell are you going to relate to it? On a conceptual level, on a personal level, on a moral level, on a memory level. And part of that drags me into a line of thought I have on a psychological level where it's like, sometimes what a person needs isn't a convoluted plan or process that that works for most everyone. Sometimes what they need is just to hear words that they didn't even know were possible. To be told things that they weren't even left in a position to consider. For better and worse, that can help people change. It's the whole reason why religion is still so widely debated, because on one hand you've got the people who follow rule sets and are grown up with those rule sets because they seem to be good values and they at least are consistent enough. But then you've also got people who genuinely try to figure it out for themselves or have learned from experience. And when a rule set is an authority, considering a rule set as an authority and or sacred, fucking... The directions my mind can go to and from are incredibly interesting, but also incredibly difficult to put into words. It's like being able to navigate a web of concepts in a network, but you don't have the words to describe the connections. Not with port addresses or social dynamics or otherwise. Because if you treat something as sacred, then you neglect to look over its flaws and the dynamics it has with other things that can make up for those flaws, that can play off of those flaws in not just bad ways, but healthy ways too. Meanwhile, if you discard or devalue something, you're gonna end up considering it only by its flaws and not by what value it can provide, even if it's only situational. Which is why I genuinely believe that every concept that makes up our world and otherwise are relative to each other in a structural order of importance, even if it's not singular from top to bottom like we would build buildings, but instead like a network, and the dynamics of which can create connections that we didn't even think of, and thus interaction dynamics are fundamentally a part of the universe. I don't know, it's... yeah, we might need this. Home, yeah. I can some corner of my mind is simulating the internet and other people, and it's like, holy shit, this person sounds smart, and it's like, bitch, I don't have a college degree. Also, just because what I say is interesting and good for contemplation does not make it fact. Do not let yourself be consumed by a concept just because you want it to be your scapegoat. Fuck off with that bullshit. That's the whole reason why I don't like people treating concepts and things as worthless or sacred. Because in doing so, they basically make it their scapegoat in a positive or negative sense, and block out all ability to learn from new sources of information and or consider new dynamics that they didn't notice before. How have I gotten to these conclusions and done all this? From trying to work on myself as a person and understand neurotypicals. With what little ability to understand them that I have. If anyone thinks this is grand or groundbreaking, hun, for as much as this may be beyond your level of understanding and or inspire a few thousand fantasy stories for yourself, for me, it just makes me realize there's always fucking more to learn. For all we know, life and civilization and all that just occurs within the first few digits of pi. The first million, thousand, I don't even know. And if that's the case, then pi could technically be seen as our universe's genome, but how would you prove that? Oh. Because we still haven't reached the end of pi, and we know the start of it. The start of it is probably around where the universe starts from. And the end of it, the full scale of pi, would essentially be the overflow limit from my wild guessing. Now I'm worried that someone's going to hear this all and just be like, oh, I came up with my own idea, and try to present it as more people talk, and it's just like, the people who are going to actually genuinely fall for the cult of personality that person presents and end up believing them blindly just because they don't want to be wrong, when being wrong isn't the problem. It's refusing to accept that you're wrong. Being wrong is useful and valuable information. Just because it isn't positive information that we can build off of in constructive and rapidly advancing ways doesn't mean it's useless. It just means, okay, there's a limit there. There's a constriction there. It doesn't work the way we want to think about it, so it must work in a different way. Or maybe the concept as we know it is that, as we think about it, is the core ideal of the concept, but it's not the implementation of it in our reality. And this is the reason why I don't try to open up and talk with people. Because, on one hand, your regular everyday person is probably going to have an existential crisis if I open my fucking mouth too much. Meanwhile, anyone who would find some of this stuff as interesting food for thought is going to potentially be in the oh no, actually space, wherein they focus solely on accuracy instead of playing with the idea, because accuracy is all that matters to them, when most ideas were found and understood through playing with our understanding of things. Hell, it's the playing with things that actually is a fundamental part of being a person or an animal. Because in playing, you practice, and in practice, you prepare. What makes inventions and other things so interesting? Simply creative restrictions that create new dynamics. I'm gonna have to go elsewhere. Interesting. Well, time for a visit on the slip and slide. It's like, but it's frozen water. Okay, and it's still a slip and slide. You slip, you slide. Oh, I absolutely love understanding both social spaces entirely in different ways. Oh. Because neurotypical social dynamics, either people just understand things on a surface level, or they acknowledge the possibilities and dynamics of someone playing with social concepts, in which case you get manipulators and otherwise. Meanwhile, some neurodivergents may be able to see networks of concepts and or ideas and link them together in new and intriguing ways. And that's not even the case for all neurodivergents. Some of them are going to be focused completely on accuracy, while others are interested in other things. It's entirely fascinating to know how all of these different layers of reality, of existence, overlap with each other in weird ways. And yes, the only reason why I'm aiming for both accuracy and a wide range of understanding is because I'm autistic and ADHD, the two conflicting halves of the neurodivergent spectrum that pull in almost completely opposite directions from each other. Because on the autism end, if you're so prideful in believing that logic is superior and you should just stick to the basics of, oh this or oh this, then you're going to completely miss out on the social dynamics and how emotions have evolved as an algorithm to detect social dynamics when constrained by memory limits. Is that not the case for animals, fear and otherwise? I wonder how many animals on Earth have neuroplasticity. Because if it's limited to the ones who know how to play with and build tools and pass that information on down to others, then that would mean it's something that gets encoded into our very DNA at a root-based level. Meaning that concepts through observation and continuous exposure over generations can end up being encoded into the root building blocks, the root code or building. I don't know how to phrase it, but the idea is there. And it's like, oh wow, this is all so interesting. It's just like, yeah, but I have no means of actually being able to research it. A, because I'm not willing to do the math, no thank you. Trying to do the math that proves all of this stuff is a nightmare and a half. I'll leave that to someone else. Second, just because it sounds smart and interesting doesn't mean it's practically applicable, be it at our scale of living or within our understanding of the universe. Because, again, how we think something should work may not be how it actually works, due to considerations we haven't noticed yet. And some people like living with fiction. Having that one scapegoat go all too that genuinely they just use as their excuse for solving everything because they don't like confronting their trauma and or the situation that they don't know how to resolve. Swear. But no, for the philosophers and because the one problem I have with philosophers is that they speak in absolutes of their concepts. They speak about the root cores of them to the point where it's fanatical. And that's good for discovering solid connections between different concepts. But if you don't look at the overlap either from the dynamics between two concepts intermingling, then there's no point. If you can't consider the vast possibilities in the space between two concepts, let alone multiple, then how the hell are you supposed to navigate efficiently? Because really, a lot of what people do is simply efforts towards getting what they want, being able to navigate to what they want in the easiest and or clearest way possible, and being able to store that kind of pattern and ability to navigate different situations mentally, be it through neurons or in long cases of evolution and concepts getting internalized through pure flukes of genetic mutation happening, encoded into the genome. And the more you encode it, the denser the level of compression needs to be. Otherwise, you're going to just run out of space or end up with really garbled and overcomplicated stuff that allows for the storage of multiple concepts and ideas within different spaces in that code. In short, being able to reference different parts of information in different ways is a way of encoding things in the same space. Because when two pieces of information have similar parts and they can overlap, but you read them in different ways throughout that string, yeah, that makes sense. Whoa, whoa, body rockin' keeps me up all night. 1 in a million, my lucky strike. Oh, good, I managed to land up here. Now, to all of those who somehow made it through this entire thing and didn't have an existential crisis or decide to use it to fucking enchant someone who can still be consumed by concepts, I swear I hate you people. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. To those of you who snuck by and decided, nope, we're only saw a portion of this, thank you for visiting. I hope you both, and all of you, even the people I fucking hate, hope you have a good day, good night, whatever time it is. And if it isn't good, I hope it improves or at least gets better and stays. I hope it either gets better or stays manageable. Though for you fuckers who I don't like, who just you overgrown children. How about I hope that you have a better time and or things stay manageable in a way that helps you grow rather than succeed in your goals, you little shits. Because what you think you want and what you actually need are two different things. And yes, I'm saying that because, not only because it's obvious as hell if you actually look into any detail of social dynamics in life, but also because I used to be amongst you and I am still trying to fucking cure myself, by damn it. I got poisoned by that territory when I was young. And I am still working it off, damn it. In any case, this has been me, Flicker, of Flicker, Fall, Fly, and Flare. I'm gonna wish you all the best. Or at least paths ahead that'll help you grow in ways you wouldn't have even thought of. They'll prepare you in ways that prevent you from feeling more pain without furthering bad habits. I hope you all have a good day, good night, whatever time it is. And if it isn't good, hope it improves. Sorry for not being able to keep things simple even at the end. It's one of the reasons why I don't get to talking much, and I just let casual conversation be half the time unless I feel like I'm able to actually add something. Because it's not just about connecting concepts to one another like some neurodivergents would think. It's about... I can't even begin to explain that right now, so... Bye! How do you even put that into words? Why damn it.